Hello world and all who inhabit it, my name is Blue and you're watching week 4 of The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, a program designed to help artists rediscover their passions. If this is your first time seeing me, I would really appreciate you going to watch the previous videos because we're about a third of the way in, so you missed a lot, babes. I'm ready for a new week. I'm ready to take on what it has to offer. Also, we lost one of our soldiers today. This week we're diving into week 4, recovering a sense of integrity. This week stays on the sort of theme of self-definition. The exercises are designed to help us integrate new self-awareness, which can feel both exciting and uncomfortable. One big theme here is honesty, especially being honest about what we really feel versus what we think we're supposed to feel. So Cameron starts the next chapter with reference to the morning pages. She says that the morning pages pushes us to stop hiding behind the phrase, "It's okay." Because often, it's not okay. The pages challenge us to admit when we're angry, when we're sad or dissatisfied, instead of just glossing over those feelings. By facing the truth, we start to see clearly where changes are needed in our lives. And clarity often means change. Morning pages can reveal things like, I've outgrown this job, this relationship isn't working for me, I've been bored and I need something new. This honesty can feel threatening, but it's also liberating. As Chekhov has said, if you want to work on your art, work on your life. Now, change doesn't come without resistance. Julia Cameron introduces this idea of a crier, or like a crier? I don't know. It's a kind of spiritual seizure, or like emotional tantrum, and it shows up when our soul is pushing for growth. It's that breakdown or sudden emotional release that forces us to acknowledge, I can't keep living like this. Painful, yes, but also a sign that you're waking up. As we shed illusions and old identities, we may feel bursts of grief, but also bursts of joy. We start saying things like, I don't really need this anymore, I don't really like that, or this is what I actually want. This process may look chaotic, sudden shifts in taste, energy, how we spend our time, but really it's about clearing out, making space for the new. One of the boldest tasks for this week is reading deprivation. 7 days, I cannot read. Instead of consuming other people's words or ideas, we're invited to create our own. The idea is that constant input clogs our system. By removing it, we suddenly discover more time, clarity, and space for our own thoughts. Allegedly, it's not easy. Most people will resist this task, but those who commit to it often find it incredibly rewarding. Suddenly, we're cooking, we're painting, we're listening to music, we're reconnecting with our creativity in ways that we've been ignoring. This one I don't think is going to be that hard of a task. I mean, I don't read often, not anymore, sadly. The only thing I read is this book. So obviously, apart from that, I'm not to read anything else, which I think I'm gonna be fine. So in short, week 4 is all about facing our true feelings, allowing clarity to bring change, accepting the discomfort of transformation, and making space for our authentic creative voice by getting rid of distractions. Allegedly, this is a really challenging week, but apparently it's one of the most transformative. So let's do it, let's plow on into another week. The tasks today are time travel prompts. The first task is to describe myself at 80 and write a letter as 80-year-old me to 22-year-old me. This is quite challenging. I can't even describe what I'm doing next week. Never mind what I'm doing at 80. I can't even imagine me turning 30. Can't visualize it in my head for some reason. It's also wild thinking that I'm closer to being 14 than I am to being 30, which is just fucking crazy. 80 years old, woof. Well, I hope I'm still alive by then. That's a good place to start. I hope that I'm being looked after. I have family and people that come visit me. I hope that I've lived a very successful and fulfilling life. I'd hope that I'm still mobile, that I can still move. I hope I can still speak and hear. I hope that I remember things, that I still have hair and that my forehead is still a forehead and not an 8 head, that the world is a better place, not just full of chaos and destruction, that I'm happy, I guess. With that description, I started writing a letter detailing where I'm at, giving advice to keep pushing forward and to keep following my dreams. Now I've got to remember myself at 8 years old. I didn't even find my love for performing back then, though I probably wanted to go into fashion. I think when I was 8, I was very playful and imaginative, sometimes a bit immature. I loved to laugh and learn. I loved the aquarium. I loved history, playing games. I actually had friends then, didn't care who I really was or anything like that. I had a room that I liked, had no issues or problems. Well, I guess you never have any issues when you're that young. Raising your knee feels like a first world problem. Like I did before, I had written a letter as 8-year-old Bleu to myself now. I wrote about how much fun it is to play, to create, to dream, and that I'd hope I'm still doing that at my current age. It definitely puts a lot into perspective when you're reflecting on your past and your future self, knowing that whether I'm 8 or 22 or 80, I'm still Bleu and there's still embedded joy and creativity. And although as I grow up and I gather experience, it doesn't take away from the life that I've already lived. My life as a child, I'm still that child. I'm living my life now through that child. And even when I'm 80 years old, I would be doing the same. I would be living my life through 22-year-old Bleu. We're all connected, we're one of the same. I think it's lovely to briefly speak to myself in those different timelines. Hey y'all, different setup today. How are you feeling? Yes, I'm very good, thank you. Today's task involves a little revamp. So I have to basically open my closet and create a low self-worth outfit to discard, throw away, put in the bin. Low self-worth outfit is a combination of clothes that I've worn at a time that made me feel unworthy or, you know, at a time I didn't like myself. I think we're supposed to get rid of that, so it's a way to get out of the old and in with the new. So I'm gonna try and make an outfit that I'm happy to say goodbye to. I need to sort it all out. Even just looking at that makes me want to be sick. Looking through the rack, I have some candidates for the top. Firstly, this pink cherub designed shirt. I bought this from Zaful about 6 years ago now. I'm not even sure if Zaful is still running. It's a brand quite comparable to Shein. They're both online fast fashion sites that I do not shop at anymore because I don't agree with the working conditions. Last time I worn this was like 2021, I think. It was the summer before I moved to London. Wore it for my friend's birthday party. This is the top. Wow. It still fits me. Now that I'm actually wearing it, I don't hate it. It's just not me. Part of me kind of wants to keep it and like reshape it. I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe if it was like cropped, like something like, I don't know. This is candidate 1 anyway. My next candidate is this sage green jacket that I've probably worn the least out of all the clothes on this rack. It's only a few years old. I actually think I bought this for one of my assessments at college and I literally never wore it again. I like the colour, like I love a sage green. Look at my walls. I never go to reach for it. I don't think it suits me very well. I do think I associate this jacket with a very old version of myself. I felt very frustrated during assessment season and I think that's why I never wore it since. Another candidate would be this white and blue. It's actually a bodysuit. Hi. I've worn this once for my friend's birthday. The only thing I don't like about this is the V-line. I don't have tits, so obviously this deep of a cut is not going to look nice. Hi. I think the colour combo is nice. I really like the silhouette. I like how it cinches me in here. I love the sleeves, giving Dancing Queen ABBA vibes. I've just not had the opportunity to wear this again. I actually used to wear my beret with it. It's like a bit silly now. This is literally how I used to wear this outfit. I don't hate it, it's just not something I'll wear. It's been 3 years. My last candidate for the top is this jumper right here. You might have seen this picture before. If you're not familiar, hi. Welcome to History with Bleu. This is actually a picture of some newsies, which were groups of like young children, mostly young boys, who came from very poor immigrant families, would sell newspapers on the streets of very major cities across the US. They would buy like bundles of paper from publishers and then they would resell them in order to make a small profit. And then this eventually led to the Newsboys strike, where they would protest against unfair price hikes, which then led on to having legislation for child labour and then inspired the musical Newsies. When I researched this picture, I think it was taken in Missouri in like 1910, and allegedly they couldn't afford sweets, toys, but they could afford tobacco. So all the boys back then were on the backy. Has much changed? I literally see kids puffing on like a Lost Mary or some shit. I saw this jumper in the Afflecks in Manchester. It was a tenner and I literally bought it because I knew I would be the only person on the planet with this picture on a jumper. And you know what? I have yet to see this jumper elsewhere. I do not wear this anymore. I used to all the time, actually, very bravely. I would literally walk around town with this jumper of kids smoking on it. I didn't have the most positive opinions of it. Do I avoid wearing it now? I have so many other jumpers that I'd prefer to wear. The trousers, I have these. These two are from PLT and this one's from ASOS, I think. So with these, I actually don't like wearing orange. It's just not my thing. The only reason why I would wear this, because of the back part dips. So it shows a bit of like bum cleavage. Okay, so I pulled them up a bit. That's the vibe. Which I think, like, it's kind of hot, come on. These ones don't even fit me. I have to pin them to my body, but the material is like really nice. Haven't reached for these in about 3 years. I think the last time I wore these was the last time I wore that bodysuit. Because they didn't fit me, I bought these. Although they are not white, they are like an off-white creamy kind of colour. They're not as comfy as those ones. Lovely ripe stain there that I cannot get rid of. So I don't own any shoes that I'm willing to throw away, only because I'm quite limited. I think I'm gonna choose this top and these trousers. These are going. Not sure what I'm gonna do with these. I might throw them in the bin. I might open it to the house and see if anyone wants them. Hopefully we're in a better place. And now, once I've gotten rid of these, maybe I can make some space for some new things. Who knows? Hey peeps, got some tasks to do today. The first one is to review the life pie that we did in week 2, I believe, which, to remind you, was a pie chart where you take 6 areas of your life, rate them 1 to 10 and see how balanced things feel. And I am to repeat the chart, but for week 4. This is so we can look at what's changed from then to now. So here is the chart from week 2. I think I'm gonna keep the same chart, but highlight my lines for this week so you're able to like tell them apart. Spiritually, I don't feel like there's been an extortionate improvement, but there has been progress made on the program, which includes the morning pages. So from a 7, I'm gonna bump it up to an 8. Exercise was given a 5, which I think is a fairly average score. However, since doing my chart, I haven't actually been to class because I just don't have the time right now, or the money for that matter. So sadly, my exercise has been quite inconsistent. I'm gonna bring that score down and give myself a 4. Our highest score was for play, which I've given an 8. If I'm being honest, I don't think I've had as much time to give away to play anymore than I have been. I think play has been consistent through the week, so as a result, I'm keeping play at the same score of 8. Work has improved massively. I'm now back working all the time. A mogul job, that is. It's where most of my time goes now. But that's a good thing. I needed to go back to work. I'm incredibly happy with how it's going. I'm turning our score of 4 into a 7. Next is friends. Last time I spoke about how some of my friends aren't necessarily about at the moment because we have very busy schedules. But the friends that I do have around me currently are great. We celebrated my friend's birthday the other day. My new housemate is settling in really nicely. I'm back at work, so I'm seeing more of my friends. I'd say that this is a major improvement from week 2, so I'm giving friends a 7. Lastly, we have romance/adventure. No, I haven't found the love of my life in 2 weeks. Again, this is a very inactive area of my life, but I'm not stressing about it. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to keep this score a 2. So comparing the two charts, I've gathered that most areas have had a slight improvement and there's some that have stayed steady, except for exercise, which has slipped a bit, and romance/adventure that hasn't even moved yet. Seeing them both shows me where I'm naturally putting energy and shows which areas I need to push forward in the next few weeks. In addition to today's task, I need to write my own artist's prayer, which is a written prayer for you to ask for guidance for your creative process. Cameron has given an example in the appendix of the book as inspiration. So after jotting down some ideas, I started writing my own artist prayer. It says, to the universe, O great creator, I open myself to your guidance and flow of creativity you place within me. I ask to be a clear channel for inspiration, that my work may serve truth, beauty, and joy. I release the weight of perfection and comparison. I welcome new ideas, fresh visions, and bold beginnings. Help me to trust the path, even when I cannot see what's before me. Remind me that I'm enough, that my voice matters, that I'm not too late, too small, or too flawed to create. Through my art, help me to connect with myself, with others, and with the world. May I encourage growth, nurture courage, and honor the fears that whisper along the way. Let me remember that I am loved and lovable, and let every act of creation be an act of gratitude to you. Amen. And I am to keep this prayer close to my morning pages as a way to remind myself that the universe is on my side and it's divinely guiding me through this creative process. I'm so hungover. Forgive me, alright. Feeling a bit fragile. But hey, nonetheless, I still need to do this program. We're gonna stumble through the next few tasks for today. So the book asks the question, what is your ideal environment? It's actually really hard for me to pin down what my ideal environment looks like because I don't think my heart really sits in one place. I grew up in North Wales and honestly there isn't much there, just a lot of rivers and trees and mountains, and I love that about it, you know, the peace and the stillness, that sense of tranquility, but at the same time it can also feel very isolating and very lonely. And then there's another side of me that craves the opposite. I love the city, I love the energy, I love the people in it, the sense of things always moving forward. It's like the city breathes possibility. I find that quite inspiring, especially in a place like London. My ideal environment isn't exactly one or the other. It's somewhere in between. It's quite an equal balance between the nature's calm and the city's pulse. Leading on from this, one of the tasks was to pick a room in my house and make it into a secret, private space for myself. But there is a slight problem with this one. I have multiple housemates that live here. I think it would be a bit unfair for me to designate a communal space as my own. So I thought it's a task to help renovate your space, invoke a sense of comfort and safety. And there's also another task where I need to make another change this week. If you remember from one of the previous weeks, I made a list of 10 tiny changes that I'd like to make in my life, and one of them was to make my room look more like a room. So I thought, why not blend those two tasks together and to spruce up the space? When I think about bedroom comfort, I think of two things. I did that. That's the bed itself and the lighting. I have a sunset lamp already, let me show you. It's shit, to be honest. Like, it's broken at the bottom. This bit, like, it's just loose. You can't really sit it anywhere. Only has like one dull light setting. Like, come on. The cable, girl. That is literally an electrical hazard waiting to happen. So I invested in some new lighting and I bought myself one of these lights. Light shines through because of the shards and the ridges. It like creates movement in the light. I also got some new bed sheets. These ones I have at the moment are literally so boring. Hang on. They're literally cream as cream can come. Oh my god, I literally can't believe it. I've always had quite light sheets in this room, and something that I've noticed is that when I go to sleep at night and I sweat, it discolors my sheets, even when they've been freshly washed. So I've been wanting to buy some darker sheets in order to stop this from happening. I'm gonna put these on, but I'm going to update you later when it's darker outside, just so then you can see the full picture, because I feel like it's not gonna give much in this lighting. And I've got work tonight, so everyone needs to pray for me. Pray that I make it through. Lol. And then this is the other hand. has a remote, looks like this, and then you turn it on. Whoa! It looks so cute over there. So these are the bed sheets, the little sky ones. I wanted to get an essence of like my old room. Change its colour depending on like what vibe I wanted. Is it a complete transformation? No, but like it's all about creating a more comfortable space for yourself, isn't it? So yeah, I think I've achieved that today. Hi everyone, happy Saturday. So one of my tasks this week was linked to the artist date, and it was to go on vacation for the weekend. And I thought that's so funny because you think I can just hop on a plane and go somewhere. Still wanted to do the task, obviously. So I thought, vacation, staycation, let's go to Brighton. I've only been Brighton once for my birthday last year, so I'm gonna spend the day there today. And I'm really excited. I'm not sure what I'm gonna be filming, so I guess we'll just go with the flow. So that morning, me and Jacob went to go get the train all the way to Brighton. Only took us 50 minutes. We had a little walk around, went around the stalls, we took loads of pictures, and then we decided to go down to the coast. I remember the last time I went, we didn't have enough time to go onto the pier, so I wanted to make the effort to make sure that we definitely go there on this day. The weather was beautiful, it wasn't cold at all, the sun was out, it wasn't too busy either, like wasn't packed to the rim of people. I actually can't believe that Jacob was trusting me with his camera. After a walk around the coast, we then decided to head onto the pier. We decided to go to the arcades. We actually saw a Zoltar fortune teller machine. Mine said that I was going to receive something in the post, which is exciting. We went to the arcades and went on some of the coin dropper things. It was really fun. We ended up getting 162 tickets, which was enough to get us a Brighton shot glass and Union Jack playing cards. We really wanted to go on the ghost train as well, so me and Jacob had a blast on there. Then we went back into town, took some photos in the booth. I had my first ever Wimpy's for dinner and it was lovely. And then we decided to get the train home. Hi everyone, happy Sunday. I literally can't see shit right now, it's giving Sia. Also Frizzy McAlpine. We have reached the end of another week, which means it's time for our check-in. This week was all about recovering a sense of integrity. We looked at honesty, why it matters, how it can spark positive change, and how it deepens our sense of self. I managed to complete all of my morning pages this week. I've been consistent in almost a month now. If you're skeptical, I don't blame you because I literally just, you just have to take my word for it. See all those words? Yeah, that is 4 weeks of morning pages. And honestly, it's going really well. I'm noticing that my mind feels a bit more active in the morning. I'm more willing to explore ideas. The pages don't feel like a chore anymore. It actually feels like a time that I look forward to. I can definitely see why people swear by them. My only hope is that I can keep this momentum going. For my artist date, you would have seen that I went to Brighton with Jacob. I managed to pick up 2 prints, which are lovely additions to my room, as well as a new jumper. Now, I know that the rule of the day is that I'm supposed to do it alone, so technically it doesn't tick that box, but I spent 6 hours out, treated it as self-care, and gave myself a much needed change of scenery. I'm not sure if I would have enjoyed it as much if I went on my own. It's definitely been my favourite artist date so far. I'll admit I was a bit hesitant about this week's tasks. Some of them just felt a little bit out of reach, like taking a vacation when like hopping on a plane is literally so unrealistic, right now at least, or carving out a personal space in a house that I share with several other people. On paper, those tasks felt quite elusive and I wasn't really sure how I was going to exactly attempt them, but I've realised that the artist's way is less about rigid rules and regulations, and it's more about adapting to the tools in ways that work for you. I'm glad I was able to adjust the tasks and still be able to feel their benefits. One of the challenges was to avoid reading, if you remember. I only read the artist's way itself, plus the unavoidable text and signs here and there. I didn't really notice any big synchronicities this week. Maybe there were subtle ones that I just didn't really notice, but overall, I've really enjoyed this week. There's been a lot of newness, new lights, new sheets. I've got new prints, new experiences, and it feels like a sign of progress. And it's a reminder of how far we've come already. I'm excited for the weeks ahead, and I'm curious to see what kind of person I'm gonna be by the end of it. Oh yeah, and even though my nails didn't survive, I'm not too bothered. At least now I can play my guitar and I can actually do things with my hands. And that's week 4, everyone. Recovering a sense of integrity. Let's keep moving forward together. Let's see what unfolds next week. And hopefully we'll keep inspiring each other along the way. So please take care of yourself, and I will see you soon.